The gang. The sun hung low over the cityscape, casting long shadows that stretched across the cracked pavement of Graffiti Park. In the heart of the city, this forgotten corner was a canvas for street artists and a refuge for those who lived on the fringes of society. It was also a territory claimed by gangs, where turf wars were fought. At the edge of the park, under the shade of a towering oak tree, sat a group of gang members. They were known as the Ravens, recognizable by their black hoodies adorned with a crimson raven emblem. Among them was Carlos, a young man whose sharp eyes and quick wit had earned him respect in the gang. He leaned against the tree, his mind drifting as he watched the afternoon traffic blur by. Carlos had grown up in the rough neighborhood surrounding Graffiti Park. Life had taught him early on to trust no one but his fellow Ravens. They were his family, his protectors in a world where survival meant everything. That afternoon, tension simmered among the Ravens. A rival gang, the Cobras, had been encroaching on their territory. Taggings and skirmishes had escalated into threats of violence. Carlos could feel the weight of impending conflict in the air, but he pushed aside his unease. There were more immediate concerns at hand. Just a week ago, a strange rumor had begun to circulate among the Ravens. It whispered of a curse haunting Graffiti Park, a curse that devoured those foolish enough to cross it. At first, Carlos dismissed it as superstition, a cautionary tale spun to scare off intruders. But then came the incident that changed everything. It was late one night when Diego, a new recruit eager to prove himself, ventured into the heart of Graffiti Park alone. The Ravens warned him to stay away, but Diego's bravado overruled reason. By dawn, all that remained of Diego was a shredded hoodie found at the edge of the park. The story spread like wildfire, fueling fear and uncertainty among the gang members. Carlos scoffed at the tale, dismissing it as nonsense even as an ease gnawed at his gut. He had seen his fair share of danger on the streets, but this felt different, a primal fear that whispered of ancient forces at play. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows over Graffiti Park, Carlos found himself drawn to the spot where Diego had disappeared. The ground here seemed different, almost alive with an energy that sent a shiver down his spine. A cold wind whispered through the trees, carrying with it a faint scent of decay. "You shouldn't be here," a voice called out, pulling Carlos from his thoughts. It was Mateo, the Ravens' grizzled leader. His face was etched with worry, his eyes haunted by the ghost of past battles. Carlos glanced up, meeting Mateo's gaze with a defiant stare. "I need to know, Mateo, about Diego, about what happened here." Mateo sighed heavily, his shoulders slumping with resignation. "It's cursed, Carlos. This park, it's older than any of us. There are things here that defy explanation." Carlos frowned, his mind racing with questions. "What do you mean, cursed?" Mateo hesitated, as if debating how much to reveal. "You shouldn't be here. Legend has it, this land was once sacred ground to the tribes who lived here long ago. They say it holds the spirit of those who died defending it. The ground itself, it hungers for blood." Carlos scoffed, unable to believe what he was hearing. "You can't be serious, Mateo. This is just a story, right?" Mateo's expression darkened. "Believe what you want, Carlos, but Diego, he's not the first to vanish here. And if we're not careful, he won't be the last." Carlos fell silent, his gaze drifting back to the ominous shadows that crept across Graffiti Park. The air felt heavy with foreboding, a palpable sense of danger that coiled around him like a serpent ready to strike. That night, sleep eluded Carlos. He tossed and turned in his cramped apartment, haunted by the visions of Diego's fate. The image of shredded fabric and the echo of distant screams lingered in his mind, refusing to fade. At dawn, Carlos found himself back at Graffiti Park, drawn by an inexplicable urge to confront the truth. Mateo's words echoed in his mind, a warning he couldn't shake. The park seemed different now, transformed by the veil of the night into a realm of uncertainty and fear. As Carlos wandered deeper into the park, he felt a strange pull, an invisible force guiding him towards the heart of the mystery. Graffiti-covered walls loomed like ancient monoliths, their colors vibrant yet faded with age. The ground beneath his feet felt alive, pulsating with an unseen energy that sent a chill down his spine. Suddenly, a movement caught Carlos' eye, a flicker of movement amidst the shadows. He froze, heart racing, as he scanned the park for any sign of danger. But there was nothing, just the rustle of leaves in the breeze and the distant hum of city life. Carlos. The Irish voice was a whisper on the wind, faint yet unmistakable. Carlos turned, heart pounding, as he searched for the source. And then he saw her, a figure standing amidst the graffiti, her form ethereal against the backdrop of urban decay. She was an old woman, her face pale and serene. Long silver hair cascaded over her shoulders, framing eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of ages. She wore a tattered dress adorned with feathers and beads, a haunting echo of the tribes who once called this land their home. "Who are you?" Carlos managed to choke out, his voice hoarse with fear and awe. The woman smiled faintly, a sad yet knowing expression crossing her features. "I am Beatrice," she replied, her voice commanding and eerie. "Guardian of this land, keeper of its secrets." Carlos felt a chill run down his spine, his mind reeling with disbelief. "What happened to Diego?" he asked, the words tumbling out in a rush. Beatrice's gaze darkened, her eyes haunted by memories too painful to name. "He crossed into the realm of the hungry earth," she said, "a fate reserved for those who defy the balance of nature." Carlos struggled to comprehend her words, his mind racing with questions. Is there a way to stop it? To free Diego?" Beatrice's smile faded, replaced by a solemn expression. "The hunger cannot be appeased," she said, her voice filled with resignation. "But there is a choice ye must make, Carlos, a path that lies before ye." Carlos felt a surge of determination welling within him, a resolve to uncover the truth and protect his fellow ravens. "What do I need to do?" he asked, his voice steady despite the fear gnawing at his heart. Beatrice's eyes softened with compassion. "Ye must confront the darkness within," she said, her words carrying the weight of centuries. "Only then can ye find the strength to face the hunger and emerge unscathed." With those words, Beatrice vanished into the shadows, leaving Carlos alone with his thoughts. He knew what he had to do: to confront the curse that haunted Graffiti Park, to uncover its secrets, and protect his gang from its grasp. As dusk settled over the city, Carlos gathered the ravens at the edge of Graffiti Park. Mateo eyed him warily, sensing the determination burning in his eyes. "We're going in," Carlos announced, his words firm with resolve. "We're going to find Diego and put an end to this curse once and for all." The ravens exchanged uncertain glances, their faces reflecting a mixture of fear and determination. But they trusted Carlos, their loyalty bound by years of camaraderie and survival on the streets. Together, they ventured into the heart of Graffiti Park, each step echoing with the weight of their mission. The air grew thick with tension as they navigated through the maze of graffiti-covered walls and ancient oaks. And they found it, a clearing at the center of the park, where the ground seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. Symbols and glyphs adorned the walls, their meanings lost to time, yet resonating with power. Carlos felt a chill down his spine as he approached the clearing, his senses tingling with anticipation and fear. This was the heart of the curse, the nexus of power that had claimed Diego and threatened to consume them all. With Mateo at his side and the raven standing strong behind them, Carlos faced the darkness within. He closed his eyes, drawing upon the strength of his resolve and the loyalty of his gang. And then he spoke, a prayer to the spirits of Graffiti Park, a plea for forgiveness and guidance. His voice echoed through the clearing, carrying with it the weight of centuries of pain and suffering. As Carlos opened his eyes, he felt a shift in the air, a subtle change that spoke of ancient forces at work. The ground beneath his feet grew still, the pulsing energy fading into a calm that seemed to stretch across the park. And then, with a rush of wind and a whisper of leaves, Beatrice appeared once more. Her eyes held a glimmer of gratitude, her expression filled with a newfound peace. "You have done what few could," she said softly, her voice carrying the wisdom of ages. "You have faced the darkness within and emerged victorious." Carlos nodded solemnly, a sense of relief washing over him. The curse that had haunted Graffiti Park was broken, its hunger appeased by the courage of those who dared to defy it. As the ravens gathered around him, Carlos felt a surge of pride in their strength and resilience. They were more than a gang. They were a family bound by loyalty and shared experience, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As dawn broke over Graffiti Park, casting a golden glow over the cityscape, Carlos knew that their journey was far from over. But with the curse lifted and their bond strengthened, they were ready to face the future together, one step at a time. For additional reading about Graffiti Park, please see the story description. And as always, please be sure to like and subscribe for more awesome stories.